Welcome back to the Football Experience, episode 5. Today, we are live from UB Stadium, the home of UB Hawks. And we'll be talking to Hassan Ian Stoffel to learn more about him. And also, later on, we're going to learn about the SSAS services that is available through our partner, Hope Worldwide, Botswana. Hassan, welcome.
Morph, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
First things first, man. You have so many nicknames. Tell me about them.
Uh, it's not really nicknames, but I think whenever you interact with someone, they would give you a name, and if they're not scared or if it's a polite one, they would actually call you with it. So back home, my mother called me Moha.
Moha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up to this day, I don't know what Moha means, but
Those are the Mohe.
no, I think it's more like Moha.
Oh.
Yeah, so I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
And then in the space of football, I didn't really get a nickname. I didn't even get a nickname in my in my childhood.
Okay.
So I think people generally just thought Hassan was a nickname,
Yeah.
or even Ian was a nickname.
Yeah.
But those are my official names.
No. There's something that you're not telling me. I'm told you are called Nkuku.
Exactly. Yeah. So I know that person or those people
Yeah.
who call me Nkuku. I also call them Nkuku.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not basically it's a name between myself and them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a group name.
Not necessarily a group.
Yeah.
I think there are two people who use that name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are two people who use that name.
Right.
Yeah.
And then let's come to this other name now, Hassan Ian Stoffel. The Ian name is synonymous with the former president. Where did this name come from?
My late dad was in the army, so I believe that during that time, the former president, His Excellency Dr. Ian Khama, was in charge at the BDF.
Yeah.
So I think that name came from that space. So my dad named me Ian. So that's my second name. Yeah.
Talking about your dad now, you actually grew up in Zola. It's unfathomable. Like you growing up in Zola. Take us through your childhood, memories, even up to your high school.
Yeah, being born in a different country and then coming to Botswana as a toddler.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which country is this?
I was born in Katatura.
Yeah.
That's
Nambia.
in Windhoek.
Yeah,
in
Nambia.
Namibia.
Yeah. Katatura is the same as Zola, I mean. Come on.
So Katatura is a township.
Yes.
And when it comes to where I stayed or where I grew up, in Old Naledi,
Yeah.
Zola.
Yeah.
I think I've lived there for a greater part of my life.
Yes.
And Old Naledi, or Zola as it's called, has all sorts of individuals that you can think of. So my mother was a very strict person, very strict. Even playing in the streets was you couldn't do it. At 5 o'clock you make sure you're in the house. After school you go play outside, and the moment she's supposed to come in, she'll find you in the house. So we grew up in that kind of background.
Yeah.
And having to also go to a different setting in terms of school, right from nursery, preschool, primary, and secondary at an Islamic school, at Al Nur School.
Yeah.
It molded us, myself and my brother into individuals who are under the guidance of a strict mother. And we are Muslims also, so you can imagine that combination.
And I'm wondering how now people actually in the hood used to perceive you, or this guy is Muslim, or something.
Yeah, I mean it comes a lot, but it comes as a joke.
Yeah.
But Botswana generally are very welcoming people, and some would actually ask you more about the religion, and some would actually even ask you, are you a Botswana? How are you a Muslim? And they don't really get to know that Islam is a religion, and being a Botswana is just it's just a nationality, Yeah, so yeah, I mean, we tried from a young age to be good examples in the society, and going to the same school for I think over 13 years
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
it really gives you a lot in terms of background and also the religion. I mean, I've spoken a lot about my mom right now, so yeah, we we are basically the boys from the hood.
And I'm actually told that you, at the high school there, you used to take all the sporting trophies. How true is that?
Yeah, not necessarily all, but if I remember well, my childhood friend Juma was
Yeah.
a very athletic
Yeah.
person, and I was not the best of athletes, but
Yeah.
I really liked sports,
Yeah.
But I remember when I was doing standard six, it's not easy to become a sports boy of the year
Yeah.
when there are standard sevens
Yeah.
ahead of you.
Yeah.
So consecutively, I was a sports boy of the year during my standard six and my standard seven period, and you know going through all these or being involved in all these sports, be it football, be it cricket, be it
So it
softball.
was like cricket, eh?
Yeah, unfortunately with cricket, most of the times, this is the other thing I don't like about cricket.
Yeah.
If you're not the top player or
Yeah.
the best batsman,
Yeah.
sometimes you won't even get to bat, so you'll just get to field. So I was sometimes just an outfield player, and the sport that I really liked the most was football. But it comes with terms, so I just wanted to be involved in sports, and yeah, that's where it comes from. I remember I was not fully developed in terms of being a football player. I started late.
Yeah.
After seeing my peers at when we were playing inter-school competitions.
And what year was this now?
This was when I was 9 years old. That's when I was like playing inter-school competitions.
Yeah.
But as time went on, when I was 12 years old, I got to interact with other guys who were playing in the Gaborone league, playing in BFA competitions.
Yes.
So that's when now I was like, oh, okay, there's actually football outside school, so let me go for that training session. So I remember I started off going to Gaborone United. I got there, and it didn't take me long before I left because I just felt I was not the part.
Oh, and Gaborone is actually adjacent to Zola, so it was
Yeah,
walking
it
distance.
was right there. I mean,
Yeah.
Coach Paul Mizi, at that time they were training by Bokamo, so junior secondary school. So after some time, I was like, you know what? Either these guys are too good, and you'll never play, so we'll look for another place. So my peers were playing for township rollers. So now we used to go to Mama Sire after school, go for football at Mama Sire. And after some time, there was an exodus. All these players from township rollers went to Muchuris and the Chiefs. So we then went to play at Muchuris and the
And
Chiefs.
where were they training?
At this time, Muchuris and the Chiefs was based at Grand Palm. And then that development,
Right behind it,
at Block 5, that development was based at G West, so in the same area as Mama Sire. So when we get to send the Chiefs, we get promoted to the reserve team, which was Sikwani United.
I see.
It was coached by a gentleman called Menten, popularly known as Weezo. So that time, now I was about to finish my high school. And I remember we went for a trip in South Africa. And, this trip was one of those trips that was advertised in the Soccer Laduma. So our coach saw it together with his management and administrators, and they're like, you know what, we should go for this tournament.
Okay.
I think there was a prize money to it,
Yes.
So we went to South Africa. We got that side. We went to Winterfield. Winterfield was like,
Yeah,
the deep end, deep end, where there was nothing, where you'd see a light 400 meters away. The next one would be after another 400 meters. So we got there and we were not happy with the arrangement.
Yeah.
And we end up coming back the following day. So when coming back from South Africa, then I was like, I don't want this team.
Sonder Chiefs. Yeah. You time with Sonder Chiefs.
Yeah, now it was not Sender Chiefs, it was both Sender Chiefs and Sikwane United.
Yes.
I think now it's City Paula.
Yeah.
That's the team.
Yeah.
So yeah, it happens that I then decide, okay, let me go for trials. And then I find myself at Notwane.
You went to Notwane, yeah?
Yeah, I find myself at Notwane.
Yeah.
At that time, it was Coach Opagoa.
Oh, during Opagoa's time.
Yeah, during Coach Opagoa's time. I was a defender. He liked my height.
Yeah.
He had other.
It was also like said because you are a white boy.
Yeah, maybe light skinned boy, and Opagoa was like, I'm going to work with you and make sure that you get in the national under 20s.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out because during that time, it was then 2013, around August.
Yeah.
I was starting my university here at University of Botswana. And, I went through all the stages of the trials and, Opagoa was happy with it. And then on the last day, it happened that they did not sign me. But I continued training.
Yes.
And that was the same time around the gentleman called Kealeboga Mogapi.
Gift.
Gift Mogapi.
Let's talk about that now, because there you were, despondent that you did not make it into the first team, but you still continued to train. What actually attracted you, especially with this character Mogapi in there?
Yeah, actually it was even before Mogapi, because Opagoa I really liked because he really got me involved. Completely a different approach. And I was really enjoying the place. We had players like Speto Mahube. We had those are not only legends, and others who are coming through the ranks, like Tumi Molebatsi, like Atlego Mabua, those players, and it was a good environment. I mean, not forgetting the legendary Tshepiso Molwantwa, so we were learning a lot from these players in terms of football wise. And like I mentioned, I was starting university, and guess what? December of that year, it was the end of the semester, and I didn't do well at school. I didn't do well at school, and my mother was furious. I didn't know where to start. To tell her.
So this school is actually this school UB, yeah?
Yeah, so it's UB, and I'm doing my first year, basically my first semester, and I didn't do well, because I was training the schedule, and as time went on, Notwane was now training twice a day.
Yeah.
After your gift Mogapis came in, so the schedule was quite intense. Over the weekends we'd travel with the team. If it wasn't going far, like Lobats, I would go with the team and coming back. So it was like a weekly routine, daily routine. So you can imagine. So I lost so much time. I didn't manage my time right.
Yeah.
But that January, I was like, you know what? You don't have an option. There's nothing you're choosing here.
Yeah.
Go to school. So the following year, August, I went back to school, and I knew exactly what my problem was. So I stopped playing football. And then after stop playing football, that's when now I was like, I'm feeling lost to the game, because I completely stopped. I didn't like social football, so I was not involved in that. So I then sat down and I was like, what can I do? And I went back again to Paul Mizi.
To Paul Mizi,
I went back to Paul Mizi, to say, coach, I want to start coaching. How do I do it? As time went on, I thought the environment was not the right one for me in terms of also time, So I looked for a place where I could spend less time at, So I went to a local NGO at Naledi, and we started these programs. And as time went on, we had the GGDL, the Greater Gaborone Development League, where it was about 52 teams, you know,
Yeah.
over the entire, and then, you know, from under 13, 15, right up to under 17.
yeah.
You know, I did that for about a year and a half, and then after that, I was like, okay, where do I go from
Yeah.
here? And that's when I joined the ladies team at the University of Botswana, and I was there for a good four and a half years, and that was coaching for about 5 to 6 years, you know. And during that time, I'm doing my licenses with the BFA.
With the BFA, yeah.
Both okay, with admin it's not a license, but just, you know, coaching
those
courses,
certifications,
you know. And mind you, I'm doing my business admin degree at UB, and I really wanted to do something related to sport, and you know, not being advised well at the beginning. They'll be like, no, your points are a lot, you know, choose something different. So, you know, I ended up doing my BBA, and I had a lot of electives from sports. I had a lot of GECs from the PE department rather. And you know, if you look at my transcript, it's a combination of both business and sports. And you know, after graduating, after some time, I was like, you know what, let me go and do my master's in sports.
And that's what you are doing currently.
Yeah, and you know, I'm halfway through right now the program, and you never know. I mean, you keep learning. So currently, I'm doing a lot of admin now at UB Hawks.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
as the general manager. So basically, I'm just doing a lot with the football operations.
Yes. Let's go back a bit. The Mohapi Saga. What happened? What can you remember about that guy?
Okay, not necessarily about him, but honestly speaking, we were exposed to things that we never knew could happen. You know, here comes a gentleman who everyone gave so much trust to.
Yeah.
You know, from the elders of the team right till the players, the supporters, everyone who was involved in the team.
Yeah.
And you know, he brought in quite a number of professionals. You know, he brought in Coach Simon Ngomane.
Ngobane from South Africa.
Yeah, you know, he was the director of coaching at SAFA. So you can imagine the caliber of a coaching person he is, or a coach he is.
Yeah.
You know, he brought in other players who are well known, you know, before, like Benedict Vilakazi. You know, he brought Manqoba Ngwenya. You know, so it was quite an exciting project for everyone who was involved. You know, till a point where now the finance part was not
was great.
yeah, I mean, there was no finances coming through, you know. And you know, the story ended that way. You know, he ended up leaving the team, and the team was back to the owners. I don't know if the team was bought or if it wasn't bought, but those were the stories around Galeboga Mohapi's time.
You know, he sold you guys that dream, and you could actually believe in his philosophy, or what he sold to you. But then, like you say now, you guys couldn't live the dream. So after he left, how did that affect the team, and how did it affect the way you perceive football yourself?
Yeah, you know, it was quite interesting, because when it started, you know, when things were unfolding, it looked very promising, very promising.
Yeah.
You know, till a point where documentation had to come in and things started blocking. You know, and for me, it was my first time being in that kind of setup, you know, and my expectations were not a lot, you know. At a young age, at that age, you just want to play football. So I didn't budget in terms of I was expecting so much from the team, but you know, we had other people who were forced to leave their jobs, you know.
Yeah, I remember they told some guys, "Are you serious? You want to be a professional player and you're a petrol attendant? Come in."
Yeah, you know. So those were the stories with Kialeboha, Gift Mahab, and you know, I mean, we got exposed to so many things, you know, good things and also bad things. You know, the good things that we learned from that period, or that I learned from that period, was that, you know, it's never true till it's true.
It's true. Yeah.
But you know, with with that gentleman, he was good with the tongue. I mean, I respect him as a person. I respect him as an elder.
With the tongue.
Yeah, he was very sweet. He would. I mean, he brought in all coaches. I
Yeah.
mean, he brought in our former under-17 coach also. Imagine these people have families.
Bra
I mean,
happy.
sorry.
Bra happy.
No, I forgot,
Motsagare.
not Mr. Motsagare.
Okay.
I forget his name,
Okay.
but he does work here in the university.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can imagine how many people he
Actually
had to
bought.
he had to break their heart.
Yeah.
I remember there was a session where it was a welcome ceremony, I think for Benedict. So the former president, His Excellency Mogai, was there. So I mean, it doesn't have to be a former president.
It was huge, yeah?
Anyone who was there. I mean, wherever he is, I don't know what the intentions were, but
Ogo Nambia as we speak.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, that was I'm happy for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's something again, during your UB days here at the UB Stadium, and this was during the time Zebras was actually qualifying for the AFCON, that they made an appearance at the AFCON, that historic moment. What do you remember about that time?
But actually, I mean, when we look across here, it brings back good memories. We had a very good team that had a long-term vision, long-term plan. From the time of Ben Coffey.
Yeah.
You can imagine when he was here.
Yeah,
May his soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just about that group. I mean, when he arrived here, I had no idea. I had no idea about football or whatever the case it was. But 2010 actually, and 2011, that was the 2012 campaign. Yeah, I mean, I got involved at the voluntary level.
What were you doing?
I was a fan, Molf.
Yeah.
I was a fan. I mean, I'm going to say this, but it's not good, and children should go to school. I could miss a Friday just to come and watch the team.
The training.
No, the team.
Yeah.
To watch the team play, and the team is only going to play at 3:00, and I would knock off at school at 12.
I remember those games.
But I would make sure that I don't go to school, to be part of the team, So during that time, I remember Moni Soropolo was the kit manager.
Yeah.
There was the likes of Kenneth Mogai as assistant coach, and our legendary Stanley Soswan. So these gentlemen, I was so young, and they allowed me to be with the team. They allowed me to access the players' rooms. They allowed me to be there in the changing room. I became part of them,
But what are you doing there?
Coach Stanley Soswani can do an interview for this one. He can do an interview for this one to mention exactly what was. But I mean, it wasn't anything that was bad. But it was something that I mean, it really gave me exposure.
Yeah.
And every time I'm at a game and I see ball boys running around, I'm just like, if these guys can do whatever they like here and just continue doing it. I mean, I'm not saying I've made it, but they can even do better things than where I am.
I'm told you used to carry this file.
What file, Morph?
I don't know. That's what I need to understand.
No, there was a bag.
There was a bag, yeah.
There was a bag, and this bag belonged to Madala.
Yeah.
Madala Stanley Soswani.
Yeah.
So
you can file him with you?
No, it was his bag, Morph,
okay.
Just like any other bag.
Oh, I see.
So I could carry it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the other things now in football, you have seen it at the national team. Even now you're with UB Hawks. It was a Zapaka, like. How intense is that, and how much do you believe in those things?
Molf, my personal opinion is my personal opinion.
Yeah.
And honestly, if someone believes in this thing, I don't believe in it. If someone believes in it, it's part of psychology.
Yeah.
Let them do it. Yeah. If it doesn't distract the team, if it doesn't distract anyone within the team, let them do it. If it's not against the rules, they can do it. Yeah. So for me, I mean, I'm a Muslim. I'd make my salah, make my dua, and End of story.
That's you.
Yeah, you know. So if the other person is doing it, if they see me reading my prayer, which is my salah, they might be wondering, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
So probably even them, they believe in that so much. So it's fine. Let them do it. If it helps them, let it help them. Yeah. So in terms of seeing it at games or in spaces where I have been, I mean, that's up to the people who do it. You know.
But you have been in that space, Ian, and you know how much it means to other people. Which instance do you say, like, these guys, they really believe in this thing?
Yeah, I mean, at Notwani,
Yeah.
these things used to be done.
Yeah.
And there are some players who can't play without these things, you know. And there are some players who really hate to see these things, you know. And then you're in an organization, in a team, and you know everyone is supposed to be doing it. So, you know, you end up having to also doing it. But you know, I don't believe in it. Yeah.
You know, earlier on you spoke so passionately about your education, how much you almost missed. So now, you know, with that experience, you know, what's your advice or what's your thought on people who wants to choose sports over formal employment or education?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a tricky one. It's not a tricky one. We have a lot of cases, a lot of real life examples, you know, where players are given professional contracts and are earning on a monthly basis. And then those are a few. Those are the lucky few. And then we have a lot who have signed those contracts and they're not getting a pula from it. So with that being said, I mean, even at the highest level in Botswana football, even at the national team, you can't make a living from those bonuses. You can't make a living from them. Yes, if they're giving it to you on a monthly basis, then you can survive. But football is not forever. Not everyone wants to be a coach. Not everyone wants to be an administrator. You know, there are many opportunities out there that you have to go towards, you know. So doing a certificate in whether HR, doing a diploma in whatever program that you want to do, you know, go for it. And if sports is giving you a little, then you're fortunate. Use that to even get more. So, I mean, I wouldn't advise someone to completely leave the school or the university to focus on playing football, especially in our country. Maybe if it's outside. I mean, if they're going to get something that they wouldn't get locally, but still, even when they get it, let them invest in education. Let them invest in a small project that, you know, can generate income for them.
Hassan Ian Stoffel, let me take this opportunity to thank you, man. We learned a lot about you. Now, let's learn something about the SSAS service that is provided by Hope Worldwide Botswana.
SSAS is a community mobilization intervention. It is to try to curb the spread of GBV and HIV in communities. SSAS is a Swahili name. Uganda. Let's act now. They were fed up the GBV, which was very dominant in that country, so they came up with this name and it became an intervention. Act towards the growing GBV. In SSAS, we target adults only, 18 years and above. And in categories of the communities, there is the men community, there is the women community, there is the faith-based organizations, there is the community gatekeepers, there is community leaders, there is institutions, there is any other groups in the communities. Most SSAS, we have community dialogues, and we have dialogues sitting weekly. Is the ones of raising awareness in communities on issues of GBV and HIV, together with the services around those. We get into communities, we reach out to community gatekeepers. We're talking of Bokhosi, going down to what development committees. We get through them, Raba trainer, we sensitize them and train them and help them become part of our activists. And they also help us identify influential people in the communities to become activists. Regroup communities as per their groups and their types. And with that, if we are able to get a group, we have sessions continuous. They take a minimum of 10 hours to complete. Sensitize in a dialogue setup, in a group setting. GBV that affects that certain group of people or certain community, but address the issues that affect them in their community and how they can deal with the challenges that they have with the involvement of all other stakeholders. Relationship. We're talking of stakeholders like Botswana Police, station system in community. We talk of the clinic, community. We're talking of the SNCD offices, the community, and any other stakeholders, the child protection committees in the certain community, with the activists being trained. We also do, that's what we call local activism. We also do media advocacy, like we are here today, more sensitizing media, because it's not everyone that we are able to reach through the community activists or influential people. But they cannot afford to keep up with the sessions, so they get to benefit from the media content community. Raya ko dikerekeng according to the faith. A ke ko dikerekeng tsa OWEC, a ke ko dikerekeng tsa pholoso, a ke kae. We reach out to the FBO leaders or the faith-based organization leaders. We train them as activists as well, and they become the ones who speak or who become the mouthpiece to their communities, since they will be speaking the same language. SSAS is basically addressing issues in the same language, in the same style, in the same character of the community. You don't just bring muruti wa pholoso o bore a tle go addressa dingaka tsa Setswana go nna go hella go sa wele, because di dikgang tsa bone ga di dumalane. We group a community ka ha ba dumalanang ka teng le ka ha ba ka tswang ba tshwenyega ka teng ka dikgang tsa GBV and HIV. And through SSAS, we have realized that HIV has become the center of GBV, or we say GBV has happened to become the cause and consequence of HIV growth, because it's either you are violated, then you because of the violence, you end up being infected by HIV, or because you are HIV infected, you end up being violated. And those are the issues relating HIV le violence, and then we try to mitigate them through this intervention ya SSAS. Most SSAS, we don't come to teach. We share information that we have, but most of the time we dialogue. We allow the community to speak of the challenges or the issues around violence, and it is them again who can propose possible solutions in their community, because they understand their community better. We as Hope Worldwide facilitators, we are just there to try to lead them and to try to help them with the referral system that they can have, and with issues that they may be not aware of. We also partner with our clinical partners, the likes of Tebelopele, the likes of BGBVC, Botswana Gender-Based Violence Communities, tse leng gore di thusa ka gone gore be re ka balaletsa batla ko di community tsone tsena gore batle go ba testa mogare wa HIV, batle go ba ha the prevention clinical services like PrEP, batle go ba ha STI screening and treatment ko baleng teng, as we learn through our interventions that some communities find it difficult to reach out to maybe clinics or service providers for services especially the clinical services. That's why HIV they struggle or find it difficult to reach out to service providers like Boma Podisi because of assumptions that they have. That's why violence basically that's what we do Mosasa.
That's it for today. And today we had Hassan Ian Stoffel actually taking us through his football career and also intertwining it with education. Mr. Stoffel, thank you, and I wish you well.
Morph, thank you so much. Thank you to your team. They've been absolutely amazing, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thanks for watching. See you again next time. Thanks to Hope Worldwide Botswana and also the Deep Take production team. Bye-bye.